We should crack these open at the same time. That could be like the intro. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Cheers.
That's weird.
That's the name. Hi guys, it's your girl Tavia. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are being blessed by the scarf goddess herself. Hi guys. If you don't know who she is, she's been an au pair for the past 3 years, so she knows prayers pretty. Prayers. She knows prayers.
I heard prayers.
So today's video is going to be like a little paint and sip, a conversation with Cecily, keeping it very cash. Just want to like get to know, get to the deep bottom, get into the thick of it. You know that song?
Into the thick of it.
You even know what I'm talking
No.
about. You're just going to go along
Vibing.
with it. So Cecily is in fact an artist, a content creator, and an au pair. So this is the reason we're doing a paint and sip, because if you haven't seen her art, she makes some beautiful work and I'm always inspired by it. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to like draw and talk with her, because it never happens, you know? Yeah. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I asked you guys to send me some questions that I can ask her, anything that you wanted to know about life in Paris, and we're gonna get into these questions right here.
We're in Jardin des Tuileries. It is such a nice day and summer is finally here. Although we're like sweating on all corners of our bodies.
All corners.
Let's get into this.
The first question we have is it hard to find a job in Paris?
That depends. I'm gonna start off with, if you are speaking about au pairing, people don't actually consider au pairing as a job. When people ask this question, it's typically like a part-time job or a full-time job from a French employer. I always tell people that if you speak English as a native speaker, it's so easy to find a job at a school, or if you want to go to like a little private bilingual school as well. There are so many in Paris. If you are lucky enough to find a company that does sponsor your visa, then that's really fortunate for you. But typically with those English speaking, English teaching jobs, they will not sponsor your visa. I have been on a student visa for the past 2 years here in Paris, and luckily the student visa in France allows you to work 20 hours part-time.
She's giving you all the deets. I don't want to hear no more questions, because she's giving you everything.
Y'all always be on my Instagram DMs and Atavia's, because we've talked about this, and I'm like, sis.
No, I totally agree with what she said. If you're an English speaker, native English speaker, it's a lot easier to like find jobs being an English teacher. But if you're trying to go into a different sector and you don't speak French that well, it's gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
At least I've heard. Honestly, I don't be looking for jobs. I'm blessed and not stressed. Like being a babysitter, being a nanny, an au pair, an English teacher are the easiest jobs you're gonna find. But usually you have to kind of figure out your own visa situation for that.
I would say if you're just trying to come live abroad and have a job at the same time, the easiest way, if you're just trying to get your way into France at the beginning, just get that student visa. Even if you're not studying at a university, like sign up for a language school, do a part-time job at a cafe, at the school. That's the simplest way. And then from there, I think it's easier to like get yourself into whatever sector you actually want to be in.
Next one, safety in Paris as a woman, because this person said she's never really lived in a big city, so she wants to know if it's safe. Is it gonna like induce her anxiety being in a city? I would say as someone that has anxiety, being in a big city is not easy. Like you just you have to find your own coping mechanisms. That's why I stay in my house. You don't see me unless it's hot outside like this. But the safety, the only time I've really felt unsafe in the past years-ish that I've been here is I was like at Châtelet one night. This was pre-COVID, and I was by myself. It was like 11 o'clock.
That's the thing. Don't go to Châtelet at night as a woman by yourself.
I'm saying. Châtelet is always going to feel dangerous and be sketchy. That's the place that they almost nagged my phone, and that's the place that's known to be sketchy at night. It's sketchy during the day, honestly. So that's the only time that I felt super unsafe.
Yeah, it really depends in which neighborhood you're in, because I know there's some neighborhoods in Paris where it can be 2 a.m. and you can walk around and it will be completely fine.
My neighborhood is super chill.
Yeah, but if you're, I mean, I don't want to be like calling any neighborhoods out in Paris, but 18th, 19th, 20th, 10th.
I don't want to call it no neighborhoods, but here's 4. And then like Châtelet, like
Léal.
Just keep them in mind, honestly.
Yeah, just keep them in the back of your mind if you're ever planning to travel, visit, live here. Of course, the rent prices are going to be a lot cheaper there.
And you get bigger apartments, so it's going to be tempting.
Yeah, it's going to be tempting.
If you're alone and you're worried about your safety, I would say just find a different arrondissement and get like a smaller place.
Pickpocketers are everywhere in Paris, so just make sure you keep your belongings close to you. Cities are always dangerous. Paris doesn't. It's no exception here.
You live in the 18th.
I do live in the 18th, and that's all. Like, I wanted to mention that as well because I'm a female who's living in a studio by herself. Usually before COVID, I would come home at like 1 a.m, 12, you know, sometimes 2, but I was always with somebody else, like whether that be a friend or a Bumble day, a Tinder day.
How's Paris's weather / will it affect my seasonal depression? Yes. Paris in the winter is so damn gloomy. It's like super sad. Yeah. And Paris has long winters. Oh yeah. Maybe it's because this winter felt super long because we're in COVID.
Yeah,
but
we were in lockdown too.
No, but Paris winters are brutal. Now, when was it cold? Like 3 weeks ago?
It was pretty
and rainy.
cold. I mean,
and then now it's super hot. So it's really two extremes, and it's humid. So
right now is the time where we're kind of transitioning between spring and summer. So
we ain't getting no spring.
I know. I feel like it was raining all of spring.
It was raining.
We had so much rain
this
year. So I mean, when it's raining in Paris and everything was closed, we kind of really didn't have any other option than to like hang out at each other's places. In regards to like seasonal depression, yes, just make sure you have things that you can look forward to every day, because we don't have that much sunlight in Paris in the winter times. It can be really gray even all day. You won't see the sun for like days.
I come from Los Angeles, sunny Los Angeles that does not rain.
We're both from sunny cities, like Miami, Los Angeles. We're just used to sunshine all year round, like no winter existing. So I would say Paris it's not that bad. Like, you still get beautiful days in the summer.
True.
Like, very beautiful days. And I feel like that makes up for the really gross winters.
It does.
I'm gonna be blind. I told you about the time I took a double espresso and I couldn't even see after.
What? No.
My vision got blurry. I was like...
How hard is it to adapt working for a family, like as an au pair?
There's a huge range of what kind of family you can get as an au pair. Really, really depends how lenient they are, how strict they are, what kind of person you are too, how adaptable you are. But for me, I had a family for 3 months before actually switching. And then I got another family that I found through a Facebook group here in Paris. I mean, I found it quite easy to adapt because when you know that your life in this city is kind of depending on this host family, like, you kind of try your best to adapt. So since they're providing your accommodation, your salary, your weekly salary, your food most of the time, your transport, and sometimes even your phone card, even down to that, I think personally I try to adapt as much as possible to their needs, to their wants. Of course, you need to set some boundaries and limits for yourself always, because they will try to take advantage of your niceness. Try to meet them in the middle. And of course, if you guys aren't finding like ground where you guys can meet up, then that's when you need to ask yourself, is this the right position for you? What would you say for that? I
totally agree with that. For me, it always took me so long to feel like I was a part of a family. And with every family I had in France, I never felt like I was a part of the family, even though I tried. Especially with the last family I had, I tried really, really hard to be integrated, but they were like very distant. Like, they wouldn't let me in their house when they'd gone on vacation, or they wouldn't include me in things, and they like kept it very...
Yeah, it was more like that. Sounds more like a job position, not really an au pair. Because like some families do that too. They call the position au pairing, and then they don't treat you like an au pair, like welcome you into the family. And I think that's kind of just their way to get a free nanny, not a free nanny, but a cheaper nanny. Because nannies usually do get paid more. Au pairs get paid less because they have their other living requirements paid for.
And I think it's on the au pair side, you're probably more willing to adapt because you're coming here looking for that experience. But families are a lot more stubborn in that way and kind of in their ways. So for me, I think it would be important to have that conversation, to be like, I'm trying to integrate myself into this family. I want to feel more like a family member, if that's what you want. Or I want it to be like more working. And that's something you have to discuss.
That's a really good point, because I didn't have that kind of discussion with either of the families that I've been working for or that I've worked for. And that's so, so important. If you really want that experience where you feel like part of their family, you need to ask them about that, especially if you're going to be their first au pair. Set your boundaries, feel it out, and be straightforward about what you want when you're approaching the family. And I know that can be tricky because you really just want to make a first good impression and you don't want to come off as too demanding as an au pair. But you know, you have to get what you deserve.
Okay, so Cecily, since hi Archie,
Archie's here. Our friend just arrived.
So Archie is also an au pair from the UK. He's been here since September. So he also knows a little bit about being an au pair here as a male, which doesn't happen that often, but it is possible, as you can see.
It is possible.
He is here in
living
the flesh.
proof.
Archie is a BROPAIR.
Since you're one of the freest people I know, what would you give to people who want to move abroad but they're too scared to make the move?
Obviously, being fearful is normal. That's like a human feeling. If your desire to go abroad is more than your fear, then just go after it. You know what I mean? A lot easier said than done. The logistics can get a little crazy sometimes, depending on what passport you have, where you're coming from. Like Atavia always says as well, if you really want something, you're gonna find a way to reach it. And yeah, I would say kind of don't let it become like a passing thought. If you really want to do it, start journaling about it. Start making like vision boards or mood boards about it. Start talking to your friends about it. You know what I mean? Like really bring it up in like your day-to-day life that you have now.
Okay, thanks.
And then you can make it a reality. Like eventually it is going to get to a point where you're actually in that new country or in that new city if you're staying in the same country.
I say, like, if you really want it, you'll do it from experience, because when I want to do something, I make it happen.
Yeah.
And I know when I don't want to do something, I'm going to complain about it and make excuses about it.
Yeah.
So especially when it's a dream of yours, it's gonna come back, it's gonna bug you over and over again. The more you deny it, trust me, I've been there. That's why I ended up coming back to Paris, because even though I was in school, I was doing something with my life in LA, I always wanted to be back here no matter what I did. So I just had to make the move and stop denying myself of this dream that I wanted. And like, you never know what's gonna happen. Things just work out when they're meant to work out. For me, my life here has been so expansive that I never even thought it would be. So, and things have just been coming to me that I didn't expect, just because I made this choice to finally live here. Like, I guess I was meant to be this whole time. So just go for it. Like, what can you lose?
If you never leave your comfort zone, you never grow as a person.
Yeah, truly.
So you have to make that step to begin with.
Exactly.
And then if it doesn't work out, well, what have you lost? Nothing really.
Exactly.
You're going to see something new. You're going to experience something completely different from what you're used to. And like Archie said, you're going to grow from that. You can't grow if you're still in your comfort zone. It's just, it's not a thing. It's not.
And if the excuse is money, I'm going to tell you, the first time I came to Paris, I had literally no money. When I got on the plane, I was in the negative. I don't recommend doing that, because it like puts you in a different position. And it puts you in a position that you kind of have to make rash decisions. I had no money and I came here the first time as an au pair. So if money is the thing that's holding you back, it will always come back. You will always find a way to make money to survive. And I don't think that should be an excuse.
Okay.
What's been your favorite memory so far of Paris?
Ooh. Of Paris?
Yeah.
I think basically any time we've been to a park, because the parks are so, because like even here, I mean, Toulouse is probably my favorite of all the parks. You've got the beautiful Louvres here, you can see everything. You've got the Champs-Elysees, the Eiffel Tower. When it's sunny like this, a bit of nature. I think anytime we're here and you just, like right now.
I think mine is not far off from Archie's response. Honestly, Paris is one of the smaller cities that I've been to, so it's quite compact. You can literally walk to the other side in like 45 minutes, even if you start from the other end of the city. I go on my walks and I always discover something new, whether that be like a tiny little alleyway or like a new little gallery or anything of that aspect. Like, there's always something to see in this city.
That's true.
And probably those are like my favorite moments in Paris, when I just walk upon something and I'm like, who knew that was there, you know? And just being with like friends and enjoying a beautiful day out in this gorgeous city.
That changes everything.
Yeah, that it cannot get better than that. Like having a delicious picnic and just like being with your friends, having a good time. With all the pastries.
Oh my god.
Overall, has your experience cracked up to be what you expected in the beginning? Coming here, fresh-eyed, a new au pair, didn't know anything about being an au pair in Paris. Has this experience kind of added up to what you expected?
I never really heard of anyone else doing au pairing. I've only watched videos on YouTube of people doing au pairing. So literally when I took the plane to come to Paris from Florida, no expectations. I don't think this could have been any better because I got everything I wanted out of the experience. I specifically chose Paris out of all the different cities in France because it's a central hub and I could go and travel to other locations in Europe whilst I do my au pairing experience. Yeah, my standards were met in those terms and those aspects, but yeah, it was everything I wanted and more. Like, I've met amazing people. I have gotten to know the city like the back of my hand pretty much, and I got to learn French. So.
Oh yeah, we're the amazing people you met. Yeah.
We came here the main reason was to learn French, like Cecily. That was the number one goal. So then I looked on Au Pair World, same as Cecily.
Yeah.
Found a family in Paris. Admittedly, for guys it is harder.
Yeah.
There was only one family really that I could have chosen, but it is possible. And so then I joined them, came here, and honestly, if you're gonna do au pairing or come to France, I would highly recommend it's Paris because there's so much to do.
Yeah.
There are so many people of the same age doing the same things.
That's true.
So it's easy to fit in because you can find your own crowd.
If you don't know what country you want to au pair in, but you know you want to do au pairing, if you're not choosing France for the language, choose France for the holidays because they have holidays every 6 weeks for 2 weeks. So if you're really looking to travel, choose France because they have so much holiday.
That's true. Okay, last question for both of you. Overall, through all you've been through, what do you recommend au pairing?
So all the things that we have previously mentioned, I would say it's pretty easy to say that au pairing is definitely worth it. It also depends if you like children. We had this conversation the other
You gotta like kids because you're gonna be with them all day.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, debate.
You don't have to like kids, but I think you just have to be patient.
I
That's
started
true.
watching a 4-year-old. He's 6 now, and how old are the kids that you watch?
10, 13 and 16.
Oh, that's very
They're
different.
older.
Well, I mean,
That's very different.
really the 10-year-old.
If I didn't like kids, my experience probably would have been
True.
a lot more difficult.
So you do need
because,
patience for sure.
Yeah,
get
I
that.
like being imaginative. I like dancing. I like doing art. I like doing childish things, I guess people would say. But for me personally, with like my personality, my passions, yes, for me, I would say 100%. It has been worth it, exceeded all expectations, and I recommend it as well.
And you, Archie, as a male au pair, as an au pair with older kids, would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it for sure because it's such a good situation in terms of if you don't have much money, then your accommodation is paid for, the family pays for some of your food plus a salary on the top.
Sometimes it seems too good to be true being an au pair because you get like everything handed to you, but depending on like the kids, sometimes
If
it
you
can
calculate
be really
it, you only get paid like $3 an hour. 8, maybe. Yeah, 3.
But
No, it's 3.
plus the holidays,
Of course.
and
If you have a good
you're
family.
if you're in a city, then for most people you start work at 4:30 and finish at about
True.
8:30.
Yeah.
Except for Wednesdays.
So you have, other than Wednesdays,
Yeah.
so you have a lot of spare time that you can do whatever you like with.
You guys already know how I feel about au pairing, but that's just because I'm bitter. And I've had 2 families that were not good out of 3.
Yeah.
So I can't really say I'd recommend it from my own personal experiences. But I think if you find a family that's nice, that treats you well, and you have a good friend group as well, that really changes your experience. Yeah.
Atavia definitely does not feel the same way me and Archie do.
So here is our art that I did today.
This is the paintings that we worked on today.
Cecily's actually being honest.
No.
This is actually mine. He didn't do that to me.
A beautiful piece of Atavia's artwork.
This is Atavia, not even
You guys want to see what I did today? This is what I did.
best.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so maybe you prefer this one.
This is Archie's word. Some
It's alright. It's
stickies.
alright. It doesn't need to be too close. That's alright.
Okay, be sure to leave a comment down below if you have any other questions that I can answer personally, because unfortunately they're both leaving Paris soon, but we still had fun filming this video. I hope that it was helpful for you all, and if you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe down below, and until next time, bye y'all. Bisous. Bisous.
It's more like a rubber. Do you have a rubber?
I know what isn't that what a rubber is? But I've never heard an eraser called a rubber.
Oh yeah, fair enough.